As USC recruiting continues to be on a heater, the rest of the country is taking notice. And as spring ball continues to ramp up into full gear, we're getting a more clear picture of what this roster is going to look like when we take the field against Missouri State. From the quarterback battle to new crystal balls for elite linemen to new transfer portal links, we'll have it all covered for you on today's Trojan Update. What's up, guys? My name is Gabe and welcome back to the Trojan Blade. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is a Friday, March 28th edition of the Trojan Update. Of course, if you are watching this on Friday night, I know you have so many options with how you could be spending your time, so thank you so much for spending a few minutes here with me. Please do make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. Now let's get into the update. All right, so first things first, let's talk about Tomohini Tupui. There's absolutely no way I said that right, so I will be calling him by his nickname Tom Tom for the remainder of this video for your guys' sake. So he decommitted from Oregon a few days ago. It obviously goes without saying that this is a massive, massive deal. He has already gotten crystal balls from pretty much every single major recruiting analyst, from 247 to On3. They all have him going to USC. As far as both California talent and defensive line talent, this is as elite gets. 6'3", easily 330 pounds. Number 13 defensive lineman in the country, a top 100 player in the country. I do expect those numbers to climb as this year goes on, but this guy's an absolute stud. He's in-state at Mater Dei, a pipeline we're trying to reopen, and a pipeline that Chad Bowden is clearly prioritizing. Before Bowden and his team came along, recruiting-wise, this was a rudderless ship. We had no direction, we had no identity, we had no game plan. We were pretty much ignoring California, ignoring the Trinity League. And obviously, when you're at USC, excuse my language, but that's just stupid. We have seen our entire recruiting operation get flipped on its head in the best way possible. There is direction now, there is an identity. We are going after the kids we should be going after. If Chad Bowden and his team weren't here, do you think we'd really be in the mix for Tom Tom and Mark Bowman? Bowman actually gave an interview, and in that interview, he said that he wasn't even really recruited by USC until Chad Bowden and Chad Savage got here. This might sound hyperbolic, it might not, you be the judge, but I believe that in a few years' time, Chad Bowden is going to be regarded as one of the all-time hires at USC. I'm talking up there with John McKay, John Robinson, Pete Carroll. I know he's a GM, I know it's a different kind of role, but guys, this is a different time in college football. Sit down and listen to the man talk for 10 minutes and tell me you aren't absolutely hyped. Tell me if you were a recruit sitting in a living room and Chad Bowden was there talking to you, that he couldn't convince you to come to USC. Now, our NIL situation is better, but we're not Oregon, we're not Texas A&M, we're not Miami, and we are still absolutely killing it on the recruiting trail, and Tom Tom is just where it starts. Now, obviously, this recruitment isn't done. There were a lot of people on Twitter publicly implying that it was done. That's why, unless it's from Ryan Abraham or Connor Morissette or Chris Trevino, unless it's Rusty or my man Founders Edits who's doing work within the program, making some of the commitment graphics and stuff like that, unless it's any of those guys, I'm not interested. So again, this one isn't done. Keep an eye on it. Anything can happen. It is recruiting. It is 2025. But all things are trending in the right direction for USC to land this mammoth of a defensive lineman. One that in my mind is essentially Jay Toya with better pass rush upside. We saw what Jay Toya did in this D'Antlin defense. Tom Tom is a perfect fit. He's a local kid. And man, if we can get this one across the line, this will no doubt be one of the biggest recruiting wins in the last 10 years for USC. Next up, we head to the transfer portal, and ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. That's right, the apple of many of your eyes for the last 3 or 4 years, David Bailey has finally entered the transfer portal. He finally came to his senses. He realized that he had to get off the farm, and this really talented player that has been linked to USC what seems like so many times, he's finally in there. And man, if you listen to the Stanford reporters, the Stanford insiders, not that there's many of them, but they do believe that he is going to find his way to USC. Now, we know how heavily involved we were in his recruitment. If we were able to pull this one off, and again, it sounds like that's where it's trending at this current point, this would be a home run addition, especially at this point in the year. You're talking about both a proven off-ball linebacker as well as a pass rusher. D'Antlin could have an absolute field day deploying David Bailey all over the place. Whether you're blitzing him off the edge, whether he's coming inside for a run blitz, whether he's dropping back into zone, he can do everything for you. This is a monster of an athlete, can cover a ton of space, is extremely powerful. To get him would be an absolute coup and a perfect fit for this defense. I've seen some people talking on Twitter, is this going to drive a guy like Cam Fountain away or Braylon Shelby? I don't think so at all. Contrary to popular belief, at least the pass rushers I've known, They're not concerned about snap count, they're more concerned about deployment. They want those opportunities to get sacks. And especially when you're bringing in a Swiss Army knife like a David Bailey that can do multiple jobs for you, especially when you look at the depth in our linebacker room. So this one just makes a ton of sense. A guy I know we all want as Trojans, we've wanted him for a long time. And the fact that the David Bailey to USC prophecy is finally going to have a conclusion, one that looks like it's trending in a positive direction for us, this would be massive, this would be huge, hope it happens. If there's any news on this, I will upload a video immediately. Haven't had a chance to talk about this one, so just want to say that Malachi Crawford has officially entered the transfer portal. Malachi's a guy I was a really big fan of, obviously a very, very long corner at 6'4". That injury in spring camp last year was a real bummer. Really thought he had a chance to have a role on this team last year, but with all the young guys we brought in, I'd be stunned if we didn't get another corner in the spring transfer portal window. So this one does make sense. Wish him nothing but the best. Huge fan of his and hope he does well in his career. Next up, let's talk about the biggest storyline in spring ball, the quarterback battle. You see here a quote from Lincoln Riley per Chris Trevino on Twitter. He says Hassan Longstreet is further ahead than most freshmen. He also went on to cite those extra practices that Hassan got with the team during bowl week. I talked to a few people on staff at USC, and they said that Longstreet absolutely looks the part, that he already has a high-end Division I arm, and that it's clear he's been investing loads and loads of time into learning this offense. Now, Jaden obviously has the jump on him, being an older guy, having an entire year under his belt in this system, having started multiple games. I don't know if Longstreet's going to be the guy. I don't know if Maava's going to be the guy. But if you remember, we did address the SEC quarterback transferring to USC in the spring portal window rumors. I think that was like a month ago I made that video. All I'll say is those rumors are not going away. Of course, I'll believe it when I see it. Do I think we're going to add a quarterback in the spring portal window? My gut tells me absolutely yes. I mean, this is Lincoln Riley and USC we're talking about. I don't know if a true freshman coming from a very, very simplistic system in Corona Centennial, or a guy like Jaden Maava that last year did not show he's at all ready to be a full-time starter. If those are the two real quarterback options, that does not at all seem like something Lincoln Riley would be comfortable with to me. And lastly, as we close out the video, I just want to say that what happened to Juju Watkins is absolutely heartbreaking. That girl's the heart and soul of USC athletics in a lot of ways right now. It just sucks that that happened, and all we can do now is hope that she comes back the same player, if not even better next year. But guys, that is all I have for you. I am going to be getting back into the swing of things, regularly uploading. We are in spring ball, there's going to be more news, and when that spring portal window hits, we are going to attack the transfer portal content here on this channel just like we always do. Appreciate you guys sticking with me. If you did happen to enjoy this Trojan update, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for all the support. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.